Sometimes, when you follow a story for a while, it's actually rewarding. It's actually rewarding because you can see the evolution of lies from people. And that is exactly what I have for you today. The headline is, we have now learned Republican Congressman Jim Jordan did talk to Donald Trump on the morning of the January 6th Trump riots for at least 10 minutes straight, just the two of them on the phone. You might say, why is that a story? It's a story because for a year plus now, Jim Jordan has been deliberately deceptive about his conversations with Donald Trump on the day of the Trump riots. So let's start with the news. Newly obtained records show Trump and Jim Jordan spoke at length on the morning of January 6th. The House Select Committee investigating the insurrection now has records which provide details about a phone call Donald Trump made to Jim Jordan on January 6th. Two sources who reviewed the call records tell CNN Trump spoke on the phone at the White House residence with Jordan for 10 minutes on the morning of January 6th. Why do we care about that? We care about that because we want to have Jim Jordan tell us, what was Trump planning? What was Trump hoping would happen on that day? And for as long as Jim Jordan says, oh, I don't know if I spoke to him before or after. I don't know if I spoke to him at all. No, I did, but I'm not sure. We have more trouble to the extent that we can't prove this conversation took place, holding Jim Jordan accountable to get him to either tell us what Trump said on that day or to say, I'm going to plead the fifth or whatever the case may be. A key focus of the committee's investigation has been on the run up to the insurrection and the myriad ways Trump and his allies, including those in Congress, spoke to Trump, tried to overturn the election results. The new details about the morning phone call comes as the committee is debating whether to move forward with a subpoena for Jordan after he refused to voluntarily appear for an interview. So now we know that he did speak to him on that morning. Here is the deceiving, constant backstory with Jim Jordan. First of all, remember when he spoke to Olivia Beavers from Politico, where he said, quote, look, I definitely spoke to the president that day. I don't recall. I know it was more than once. I just don't recall the times. He was then asked about it by Brett Baer. Let's listen to what he had to say then.
The committee is obviously going to go down a number of different roads about who knew what when, who was talking to coordinators of the protests. Did you talk to the former president that day?
I've talked to the former president umpteen times, thousands. I mean, not thousands times,
on January
but
6th.
countless times. I talked to the president. I never talk about what we talk about because I just don't think that's appropriate. Just like I don't talk about what happens in Republican Congress.
Now, remember, Brett Baer didn't ask what you talked about. He said, did you talk to him on that day? And Jim Jordan says, I've talked to him many times, but I don't talk about what we talked about. The question was, did you talk to him on that day?
So I've talked to the president numerous times. I continue to talk to the president since he's left office.
on January 6th, Congressman.
Yes, I've talked to the president. I've talked to the president so many. I can't remember all the days I've talked to him, but I've certainly talked to the president.
Yeah, and on that day can you share any of the insight of what he was thinking about that day?
Brett, the people we need to come testify are the people who can testify to the fundamental questions. Why didn't the United States Capitol, the People's House, have an appropriate security posture on
Now,
that?
what's funny is the committee has decided Jordan should testify, but he's refusing to go.
That day, and what have we done? Those are the people we need to hear from.
Yeah.
That's the information and testimony we need to get. That's what we should focus on. But I don't think that Benny Thompson, the chairman of this committee, said everything's on the table until we raise this issue about the Speaker's office is the one who knows what the security posture and why it was the way it was.
Okay, so he didn't answer. Shortly thereafter, a couple weeks later, he was then interviewed again. And this was on Spectrum News. And just as evasive.
There's some confusion over what you told Brett Baer on Fox News on Tuesday night, so I want to clear it up. First off, yes or no, did you speak with President Trump on January 6th?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke with the president last week. I speak with the president all the time. I spoke with him on January 6th. I mean, I talk with President Trump all the time, and that's I don't think that's.
So here, it was no longer tenable to maintain he didn't speak to Trump on the 6th. So here he conceded I did speak to him on the 6th.
Unusual. I would expect members of Congress to talk with the president of the United States when they're trying to get done the things they told the voters in their district to do. I'm actually kind of amazed sometimes that people keep asking this. But of course, I talk to the president all the time.
Well, the reason people keep asking is because he was not directly saying, I spoke to him on January 6th.
Like I said, I talked to him last week.
On January 6th, did you speak with him before, during, or after the Capitol was attacked?
I'd have to go. I spoke with him that day after. I think after. I don't know if I spoke with him in the morning or not. I just don't know.
He just doesn't know. Now, it is completely implausible that even if you bought at the time, the first time he was asked, did you talk to him that day? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, because this is how you have to think about how absurd this was. Imagine that Jim Jordan really speaks to Trump every day and asked a month later, did you speak to him on January 6th? Imagine he genuinely doesn't remember. I don't believe that for a second. I believe he remembers. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Once it is asked on Fox News and the answer is so obviously deceptive, there is no way in hell that amongst his, plentiful staff, no one comes to him and says, sir, you spoke to Trump twice on January 6th, including before the riot. So now you know. There is no way after that he doesn't remember. And here he is still saying, I just don't know, was it before or after? Now, of course, on a day that's that momentous, it's sort of like if I think back to 9/11, right? I remember where I was. And I can tell you with certainty what happened after or before. Like if you say to me, did you work on 9/11? I remember that, yes, I worked on 9/11. I remember talking to my colleagues about what was going on. And so if you say, and were you at work at all before the events took place? I can say, of course not. There was no period that day where while at work, I learned about what was happening. My entire day at work on 9/11, I was in high school at the time, was after the events took place. When I went in, it was like, are we even staying open? This is crazy, etc. There's no doubt about it because it's a notable event. And so this idea that, oh, yeah, well, did you speak to him at all before the riot? Or obviously the conversation would either be, what is Trump expecting to happen? Or what is how is Trump reacting to what is happening? It's just completely implausible that he doesn't remember.
I'd have to go back and I don't know that when those conversations happened.
Give me a break.
But what I know is I spoke with him all the time. But Taylor, the key here is the people we need to speak to, the people we need to talk to, are the ones who can answer the question, why wasn't there a better security presence?
Yeah, no, Jim, you're one of the people that we actually need to be talking to. So obvious liar. And now, I mean, listen, it took it took 14 months. 14 months we've been following this. Jim Jordan spoke to Trump that morning before the riot. And so Jim Jordan could tell us, did Trump say anything about hoping that there was violence? Did Trump say anything about what he was expecting Mike Pence to do? This is the guy that we should be talking to. And they tried to talk to him and he's refusing to appear. I'm really excited that one of our sponsors today is Helix Sleep. I sleep on a Helix mattress at home. I absolutely love it. And that's why I reached out to them about sponsoring the David Pakman Show. Buying a mattress in the past was always a huge guessing game for me. I didn't know what I actually needed. I didn't know what I would like. But Helix has a sleep quiz on their website. You tell them your body type, your sleeping position, your back pain issues you might have, and their tool matched me with a mattress that is perfect for me. It's cool enough at night. It's the right firmness. I generally just do way better sleeping these days because of the mattress. Helix was awarded #1 best overall mattress for the last 2 years by both GQ and Wired Magazine. It is well-deserved, I can tell you firsthand. Every Helix mattress comes with a 10-year warranty. You can try the mattress risk-free for 100 nights, and they will even come pick it up at your house if you don't love it, but I know you will. All of my viewers will get up to $200 off your order, and you'll get 2 super premium pillows for free when you go to the link right underneath this video.